Welcome to Linux Festival 2013. We have been trying to get this thing up for the past 1.5 months. And like I said, I'm Ishwan Sookun, a Linux enthusiast and an openSUSE advocate. In the next slides, I'm going to explain what the thing is about openSUSE advocate and the LC port, which means local coordinator. Okay. Let's get back into a flashback. What's Linux? Some 21, 22 years ago, there was a guy named Linus Torvalds. He was a genius. He created something called Linux. Now, many people think when they hear about Linux, they think, what the heck is that? Is it an operating system? Is it a whole distribution? Is it just an application? Well, the guy back then, he created only a kernel. Even the guys who use Windows, they should know that even the Windows operating system and even the, how do you call that? The Macintosh stuff, I don't really know. Even Mac, the Mac thing. Even the Mac thing has a kernel. So Linus Torvalds, some 20-something years back, he created the kernel. And he used an open license, a GNU license, and released his code, so that people, developers, programmers from around the world could contribute to his code. After 20 years, or 21 or 22, whatever it is, this project has become so huge that it's being used everywhere. Wait, if everywhere, how come you guys are not using? How many among you uses Linux? Just raise your hands. 1, 2, we got some people. How many people here uses internet at home? Mighty, ADSL, whatever. I'm sure there's no one on dial-up these days. All right. Almost the whole of the... Sorry? Okay. How many people are still using dial-up? Wow, we got one guy who is still using dial-up. Let's clap for him. So, when I asked about how many people are using Linux at home, I got almost 1/3 of this room. When I asked about the Linux Windows part, 3/4 of this room raised their hands. No, not Windows part. The Linux part, all of the people raised their hands. So guys, all of you are using Linux at home. Your Orange Livebox, your Netgear router is using Linux. So, even if you are on your Windows machine at home, indirectly you have Linux that is giving you that internet connection. Not giving, but facilitating that internet connection. So, I talked about the genius part. Let me see, it's my slide. I forget what I wrote. So, yes. Normally, after the 20 years, now we can see that Linux is powering almost 96% of the top 500 supercomputers of the world. And in my next slide, oh, okay, it's here. Can you read on the slide? Is it visible for everyone? No. Okay, I'll try to translate it. Well, in the top 500 supercomputers of the world, we got 414 running on Linux. It could be a customized version on Linux, but it's Linux. We got 20 supercomputers running Cray Linux. Again, it's Linux. We got 13 running SUSE Linux Enterprise, 11 running CentOS. That's a lot. In this list of 500 supercomputers, can someone in the front row tell me how many Windows machines in this one? Just come near the stage and tell me.
No, wait. Why are you so anti-Windows?
I did not hear your question. Can you repeat?
Why are you so anti-Windows?
Sorry, I don't get you well.
Why are you so anti-Windows?
I forget it. I can't hear you.
Okay.
No, someone in the front row. You, cameraman, can you just tell me how many machines or how many supercomputers running Windows? Okay, only 2. It's not I'm bashing against Windows. I'm very friendly with the Windows guys. I've got one of my friends, Microsoft guy, in this audience, so it's not a bashing. It's just I want to show you that. Let me tell you a small story. Something like 2 years ago, I was attending an IT fair at University of Technology, Mauritius. And in that room, there was around 60 or 70 people, students. Most of them, in their forms, they had written that after their studies, they want to become network engineer. Some said software developers. None of them said system administrators or system engineers. So I was trying to enlighten them. What is system administration and what is system engineering? So again, in that room, I asked how many people are using Windows and how many people are using Linux. Almost the whole room lifted their hands for Windows. Some said Windows XP, some said Windows 7. There were only 3 or 4 people who said, okay, I'm using Linux. Because in one of my modules, they talk about programming, so I had to do a couple of stuffs on Ubuntu. Okay, so I asked them a question. I say, after your BSc, you get your degree, let's say there is some kind of project where NASA decides to take 50 Mauritians from here, 50 people from Mauritius. And you are one of the lucky people to go and work at NASA. Now, those guys who are running Windows, I asked them, if you go at NASA and we put you in front of one of the supercomputers, you get the console. Do you think you can work on that? They said, no way. I said, all right. Now, there were the Linux guys. I asked them, okay, you're using Ubuntu at home. Good. You're doing compilation and practice stuffs on that, writing your C code, C++ code. Perfect. Now, if I put you in front of the NASA supercomputer mainframe or the console there, do you think you can work? They said, I don't think so. I said, why? How do you move a file using the command line at home? They told me the command. Then how the hell do you think you're going to move a file using the console on that supercomputer that is running Linux? It's again the same command. So the operating system that you're using here and the operating system that are powering the web servers around the world and no, not supercomputers, the distribution. The distribution that is also powering those supercomputers are the same commands work. So that was kind of enlightening the students. And we look nice in this picture. Well, this is the Linux user group Meta. That's our official name. But in official announcement, we usually call it Linux user group of Mauritius. And that's not our whole team. There are a lot of missing people in that. And what's the Linux user group? I didn't get time to listen to all the speakers since morning. So did any of the speakers mention the LUG or the Linux user group? Did they mention? No idea. Okay. Normally the Linux user group is a user group, as it says, in Mauritius, where we have people, professionals, programmers, developers, system engineers, system admins, geeks, and students from around the island who meet up and they discuss about Linux. They discuss about open source. They discuss how they can use these applications, these distributions in their daily activities or at work. But there's one thing which is common among all these that I just said. It's that we believe in knowledge sharing. We believe that if I know something, that thing can be improved by sharing with the other guy. Because maybe when I share my knowledge with him, he can improve it, he can make it better, and I get a better knowledge from him. So that's the spirit that we have within the Linux user group of Mauritius. Well, that's our website there, ugm.org. If you want to have more information, read about what we do in life. We do talk about non-Linux stuffs also, sometimes.
How do we pronounce it? Open what?
Wait. Before you say something bad, I'm just going to pronounce it for you.
Okay.
It's openSUSE.
Oh.
Okay, cool. I've got some very bad experience about this thing. Once, when I was working for my previous employer, my manager told me, go and do a presentation about Linux with the non-technical stuff, just to give them some knowledge. What is Linux? What is the thing that the system admins and system engineers do? I went and I did the presentation. I told them about the different Linux distributions that exist in the world. Ubuntu, CentOS, Red Hat, openSUSE, and everything. Then to make sure that they grasp that knowledge, I gave them a feedback form. Now, when my manager was correcting the form, he was laughing. He said, "What did you teach them?" I said, "Linux." He said, "Then why?" Someone answers, there was a question, which of the Linux distributions you know? And there was one girl who didn't remember Ubuntu, didn't remember Red Hat, not even the Debian. She wrote Open, O-P-E-N, S-U-C-E. Now, how the hell do I pronounce that? That was not the kind of word that I told them in the presentation, but anyway, I was proud that at least this way you can remember the project. Well, so what's openSUSE? Anybody got an idea in the audience? While I take some water. They were looking for something to be the mascot of the project. Just like we have Tux, the penguin for Linux, they chose the gecko. Now, why the gecko? The word gecko sounds very near with geek. Gecko, gecko. So all the folks in the project who are openSUSE experts, we actually call them the geckos. So that was one of the reasons why they chose the chameleon, the gecko. The second reason is that gecko, when you look at it, quelqu'un qui déjà est un iguane? Vous connaissez un iguane comment il était? Vous avez déjà touché un iguane? Alright. Vous touchez un iguane, il va vous faire rien. Because the gecko is one of the most lazy creatures of the world. And geeks are the laziest people of the world. You go and you ask a geek, okay, I have to do this on my computer. He said, yeah, okay, I'll do it for you. You can ask him again the next day. Okay, I'll do it for you. The third day, you go and ask the guy, okay, I have to do this stuff. He writes a script and gives you, do it yourself. Just double click, it will do it. Because they are lazy people. Things that become repetitive for them, they just script it. I don't have to do this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Oh, that's a pain in the A. Every time to do all those steps. Just write it in a script and make it automated. Guys, if I'm going beyond my time, stop pestering me. Because I know in a few minutes you are going to say that I'm taking too much time. Well, I should say something about, yes, I should say something about the word SUSE, S-U-S-E, from where it comes. Normally, the project when it started back in the 90s, it was called SUSE only. S, capital, the big one, then small u, then S-E again, the capital one. Now that, the project was started, I think, back in Germany. So S-U-S-E, SUSE, meant, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it well. It was, I think, Software und Systementwicklung, which meant software and system engineering. The project got a lot of support. It grew throughout time. And somewhere around 2004, there's a big company, Nobel, that bought the project. They bought the SUSE project and they incorporated as an enterprise solution, the SUSE Linux Enterprise. And they released a copy of that and gave it back to the community to continue working on that. So the enterprise version was called SUSE Linux Enterprise and the community version is called openSUSE. And since this distribution comes back from the 90s, I think it is one among the oldest surviving Linux distributions. Well, I'm talking so much about openSUSE, 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 but what a speciality does openSUSE have for you to start using it? First, we have YAST. YAST, which stands for Yet Another Setup Tool. What is this thing? Okay. If we have system admins among us here, they must know that on the Linux machine, you have your configuration files. You need to modify something, the host file, you need to modify the IP of something, you need to change something in your firewall, you play with the configuration files. Now, if you're a Debian expert and you're used to working on the Debian machines, and I just take you and put you on the CentOS machine, you may spend some time finding those configuration files because the paths are not the same. Chemin a changé. Il paraît que moi, tous les users prennent chemin droit, je la case, tout à coup, un coup de gouvernement décide de rascolter, plante la forêt avant de l'estimer aller. So for you, it takes time to walk around and go to the destination. That thing has been solved with YAST. You just fire up the YAST, the application, and from there you can configure all your appliances, hardware, all your devices, and your services, the networking stuff. So it's again, it solves, not solves, but it makes you gain in terms of time. Another thing is OBS. That does not stand for Orange Business Services. It stands for Open Build Service. Well, I think some time back it was called openSUSE Build Service, but they changed the name because the project does not limit itself to openSUSE. Because actually this project is the guys who are using Linux at home or at work here, you know about packages, package management. Like for Debian, you have deb packages. On the Red Hat machines, CentOS and Fedora, you have the RPM packages. So these packages are made from the actual source code compiled, and most of the times when you go on a project online, you can find tarballs. So you have to extract and put the binary files in the correct location, the library files in the correct location, and the configuration file in the right location. But package management enables you to have only one single file that when it is executed, it is run through a package manager. It just installs your application. The binary files go in the right place, the configuration and the library files go in the right place. So Open Build Service is an online service that allows you to have the files, the source codes, and get them compiled online. And you can create packages not only for SUSE, openSUSE, but also for Fedora, CentOS, and the Debian-based distributions. So that's one of the good things about openSUSE. Next we have SUSE Studio. Now before I talk about SUSE Studio, is there anyone in this room right now who dreams to have his own Linux distribution, a customized version? Anyone? Whoa, we got geeks here. All right. You may think about checking SUSE Studio. SUSE Studio is an online service where you just sign in, you select all the packages that you want. Maybe you want a distribution that has only, let's say, Firefox. You want a web-based distribution that all the applications that the distribution is going to access will be web-based. So you don't need LibreOffice, you don't need VLC, you don't need any other application, any other stuff. You just need that one browser, Mozilla Firefox. So what you can do, you can go on the SUSE Studio, you select a base. Now the base is going to be openSUSE or a SUSE Enterprise base. So you have the kernel and all the necessary files to run your operating system. And on top of that, you select, okay, you have your X server, or you have the environment, and you select Mozilla browser. So you compile that thing, web-based, everything, just drag and drop, select the packages, give your distribution a name, select a wallpaper that is going to be the default thing, customize the menu, the booting thing, and you create your own ISO file, the image that you're going to download and burn on DVDs. You can, right from there, also create a live image that you can dump onto a pen drive and boot live from the pen drive. You can also create virtual hard drives. So you can download the virtual hard drive and fire up your virtual box or any virtual system that you're using. And you have your own customized version of Linux. Call it whatever you want. And I believe this is awesome because when you go on the SUSE Studio website, you will see that there are thousands of customized versions of SUSE that have been built and being used not just by geeks, like the 3 geeks who lifted their hands there, but also by companies, because there are companies who have certain applications that they want to be on the distribution. They don't want that every time they install the operating system, they have to install that thing again. So it's good that they have one customized version and they just, poof, every time it goes on the system. Now coming to having customized version of distribution, there's also one thing about YAST. YAST is a very powerful tool. It has some add-ons. Another version that is called the WebYAST. What is WebYAST? It is just like YAST is a configuration tool for your operating system. So if I need to configure this laptop running openSUSE, I just fire up YAST, I click on this and this and that, and I set up my system. Now, if this laptop is here, and I'm at home, and I need to configure this thing, I can connect to this laptop using WebYAST. I have all the interface, I can create users, I can delete users, I can customize my service and do things. This is WebYAST. There is also something that is called, yes?
Ish, wait, I've got a question for you.
Oh no. What is it?
Are you high today?
Am I what?
Hi.
No, I didn't have coffee this morning.
Oh, girls, that guy is
No, I didn't have
high.
coffee this morning.
High on coffee.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So, where was I? I lose pointer when people disturb me. Don't disturb me again. So, I was talking about, oh, WebYAST, thank you. WebYAST. Okay, forget about WebYAST, you already know about it now. I can talk about AutoYAST. AutoYAST is another add-on from the YAST tool that automates installation and configuration of openSUSE system. So you can define all the settings in one file and put that stuff in your distribution. So every time when you're running the distribution on the machines, it automatically configures the system with the configuration file that you have provided. It's a bit like, I don't know much about Windows, but I know they've got something about unattended setup or something like that. Anybody ever heard about that? You're installing Windows, it didn't even ask you for the product key, doesn't ask you about the network settings and stuff. You just dump the Windows on the machine. You know about it. Awesome. Now forget about Microsoft. Stay focused on SUSE. Well, let's see what I prepared in the next slide. I hope it's not something boring. Oh, okay, it's not something boring. Does anybody can tell me if you can understand something about the word advocate? I can drink some water in the minute. Do we have anybody here from the Fedora project? No one. Anybody uses Fedora? Okay, one person. Exactly. That project, Fedora project, has something that is called the Fedora ambassadors. Now what are ambassadors? Just like the word says, an ambassador is supposed to represent something. Like a Mauritian ambassador in India is going to represent Mauritius in the conferences there. A French ambassador in Mauritius will be representing France here in this country. So a Fedora ambassador usually represents the Fedora project in conferences. Now, a few years back, we had that program in the openSUSE project. It was called openSUSE Ambassadors. As from this year, as from 2013, that project has been changed to openSUSE Advocate program. Now, many of you will be thinking, why am I beating the drums about the openSUSE Advocate program? What do I get out of that? Do they pay me money? Do they send me lots of stuffs? Do I get rich with this? No, nothing. What I get with this is satisfaction. I am a Linux enthusiast. I care about the Linux community. What I got from the community, I want to give back. I want to contribute. So one of the projects through which there are hundreds of projects out there, Debian, openSUSE, CentOS. You can just get into anyone. But I particularly work in this project because years ago, when I was still a novice in Linux, but I was passionate, I was enthusiastic about getting into the community and changing things. I thought, let's change the world. Like the guys 20 years back created Linux and they changed the world. But I was a novice in Linux. I could just do a couple of tricks on the command line. That's all, basta, fini la même. I didn't know things more than that. But when I joined the openSUSE Advocate program, I met people. I met a lot of people, admins, engineers, advocates, through whom I was able to know how to contribute into a project. I'm not a developer, certainly not. I was hoping they would make a comment on that, but okay, fine. Well, I'm not a developer, but still, in this project, I happen to contribute in terms of coding. Not really writing the codes, but finding bugs. Every time there is a release candidate of openSUSE, I just download it, burn it, install it, and I click on something, it goes wrong. Oh, I caught a bug. I filed the bug, I explain to the guys how to reproduce that thing on your screen. You click here, you click there, you do this, you do that, and poof, you get the bug. So that's pretty easy. I'm sure many of you can do it. There are other ways how to contribute in the project. Wiki writing. How many among you love writing? No one? We got one. Anybody else? Writing French, English, Hindi, Korean, Japanese. You like to write PHP. Then you can help the project because they need software developers. They need web developers also. So you can help some of the guys working on the web interfaces. Of course, you can join the program. You can also, how many of you like to design stuffs? Graphic designing? Anybody? You got to become, because in the next few years, I'm just going to try something to inspire you. In the first quarter of 2013, I wrote a small script. I'm not a developer, I'm not a coder. I'm just a system admin, system engineer, you can call me. I wrote a small script in Perl that would allow openSUSE users to install penetration testing tools on their distribution without the heck of going download each of those applications and running on the distribution. I got this idea because there was one guy on the openSUSE Facebook page said, can someone help me install penetration testing tools on openSUSE, just like we have the tools in Backtrack Linux or Kali Linux. I said, wow, this could be something interesting. I'm not a penetration tester, I'm not a network engineer, I'm not a network admin, but I know how to script things. I know how to install things on openSUSE. So I wrote down a small script in Perl, nothing complicated, just download the RPM and execute it on the machine. I created a software repository on my server. I have a blog, the server there. I created an RPM repository and it downloads the RPM files from there. Okay, forget about this part. If you need questions, you ask me later. Well, what happened next after that thing that I wrote on my blog? I wrote the script, I shared it on my blog. After 2 days, I got a pingback on WordPress. Now, those who usually blog and use WordPress, they will know what is pingback. When you have an article and people reference your article in their blog on WordPress, you usually get something that says, okay, your article has been referenced. I click on the pingback. I get a page, I couldn't understand anything, it was in Greek. But I could read Ishwan Sookun, Mauritius. That was interesting. I translated the page. The article that I had written and the script was translated by a guy in Greece and shared there among his local folks. And that was awesome. Something that I write in Mauritius has been shared in Greece. Okay, cool. You be happy 5 minutes to jump. Okay, do some Bhangra and let's continue, life continues. After 2 weeks, I get another ping back. The article was translated into, I think that was Portuguese, people in Brazil, they talk Portuguese, I think, so it was Portuguese then. It was translated for the folks in Brazil. I was like, wow, that's awesome. I'm writing stuff here in my room, alone, at night, midnight. Ah yeah, my project was called Project Evil Genius. When people ask me, why the hell do you put a name like that, Project Evil Genius? What the heck is that? I said, you know, I was all alone at night, after midnight. I was high on coffee. And I couldn't get a name for my program. And I thought, what am I doing? Is it something evil to write a program that will help people hack system? I said, let's call it Project Evil Genius. So, that was after the 2 weeks I got the ping back from Brazil. Awesome, superb. After a couple of weeks now, I get an email from a publisher house, Pact Publishing. Ever heard of that? I'm sure if you downloaded the pirated PDFs online about C, C++, PHP, you must have seen the logo of Pact Publishing, because it is one of the publishing houses that publishes a lot of books on open source applications. They pinged me and asked, they said, okay, we came across your article, your blog, the Project Evil Genius stuff, it's interesting, very fun. Would you like to review one of our upcoming books? And that book was Web Penetration Testing on Kali Linux. Wow, I'm not a penetration tester, I'm not a network engineer. I'm getting to review a book. I said, yeah, I can give it a try. Because at the end of the day, the things that they are going to send me are just commands. I just have to run the commands and make sure that the guy that has been writing the book, the commands actually do the same thing on the computer. It was easy. I just went through. From time to time I corrected the English where the thing was ambiguous, you couldn't understand. I improvised something for them and gave them, okay, write it this way, it's better, it's clearer, people can understand. After 6 months, the book gets published. Okay, I get a complimentary copy, the hard copy, by post after 2 weeks. I said, okay, wow, nice, free book, I like that. I opened the book, I went through the first few pages, and there was something that caught my attention. On one of the pages, they thanked a guy named Ishwan Sookun, who lives on a beautiful, they wrote it this way, the guy, Ishwan Sookun, a Linux enthusiast, who lives on a beautiful island, on the beautiful island of Mauritius, in the heart of the Indian Ocean. He is a member of the Linux user group of Mauritius, and an active member of Mauritius software craftsmanship community. Who is proud here? Ishwan Sookun or Mauritius? With my little tinkering online, I was able to put Mauritius on that book. Forget about the Ishwan Sookun part. Tomorrow it can be one of you guys. That's why I'm telling you. I may have taken 10 minutes more, but I just wanted to tell you, start writing code, start blogging, start doing bug reports. Tomorrow when the Ubuntu is being released, we should see that there are 50 people from Mauritius who filed bugs. We should see 50 names that are Mauritian names. When the Fedora is released, we should see like 25, 30 or 50 people who have contributed. When the openSUSE is released, we should see thousands Mauritians who have contributed on that project. This is what I want. Let's put Mauritius in the forefront. Stop using pirated software. We have put Mauritius in the forefront. We are one of the highest ranked countries in South Africa or something that use pirated software. Now people say, we are a small country with small population. How come we are highly rated? Come on, 1 million people. If you take 500,000 Windows pirated, over 1 million people, it is 50% of Mauritius is using pirated software. That's a lot. A lot, because if you're pirating your Windows, pirated license, pirated Office, pirated antivirus, pirated download manager, Why the hell are you genuine? Try to use these things. Not only the openSUSE, we have a lot of distributions that will be demoed outside in the lobby as from 13 hours or 13 and a half. Come and visit us there. So, the thing that I have been doing for the past 15 minutes, I think, about openSUSE, this is called advocacy. I'm talking about the project, I'm promoting the project, I contribute to the project. I'm not asking you, okay, let's take thesaurus, the dictionaries of English and improve the English so that we can write on the wiki. No. Find your own skills. I'm sure there is a little geek in each one of you. There is one skill in you that you can put a spotlight on that and use that skill to contribute in this project. Maybe it could be the wiki writing. Maybe it could be designing a couple of stuffs and sending to the project. Maybe you talk well. English, French, Creole, Hindi, Bhojpuri, Korean, Japanese, whatever. Use that language to speak to people about Linux, about FOSS. FOSS means free open source software. About openSUSE, of course. If you do that, you're doing advocacy. Now, let me just, it's just about to finish. Perfect. Now, what are the advantages of being an openSUSE advocate or a Linux advocate in general? Anybody got an idea? Apart from the fact that I said what we get is satisfaction. Anybody got an idea? What do you get by being an advocate? Someone in the public? I told you don't get money. No one else? All right. I'm going to concentrate on the openSUSE Advocate program. When you join this program, the project entitles you with openSUSE Advocate. You are allowed to use this title in your CV, in your LinkedIn profiles, in your professional profiles, and you are allowed to put the logo there. You are allowed to boast about your contributions in this project. Maybe you have modified something like 100 of wiki pages. Does anybody know that? No. But when you write your CV, you send to a company, and there in achievements section, you write that you have contributed to the openSUSE project, you maintain the wiki. That's awesome. Because when you become an openSUSE advocate, on the official website of openSUSE, your name is listed. Your name, your address, your country. So if that guy is a bit, okay, he's talking about so much about openSUSE, is it true? Let's go check it. They go on the openSUSE website and yes, oh, this guy is really a contributor to the project. We need him in the company. This is the kind of things that happen. You list this thing on LinkedIn profiles and you get jobs. This is a personal experience. And right now, I think we are, a few years back when I started, I was the first openSUSE advocate, ambassador at that time. Now I think we are seven Mauritians who have joined the project. I have been lucky to be also the local coordinator. Because when the guys were changing the program from openSUSE ambassadors to openSUSE advocate, they also wanted some of the, I won't say senior members or senior ambassadors, but some of the guys who have got some experience about advocacy, how to talk about Linux, how to talk about openSUSE, let's make them local coordinators so that they can help the newcomers. Give them some tips and tricks how to do the advocacy part. And I was like selected by the project, okay dude, you can become a local coordinator for South Africa and Mauritius. At the same time, they needed someone for East Asia. And they didn't get anyone because all of the ambassadors, they were either very busy or somewhere they weren't that keen to have that additional responsibilities. And when I was in the meeting, I said, East Asia, do I have to talk in Hindi and Urdu? They said, yeah, kind of. South Asia, East Asia, even if you know a little bit of Japanese. I said, I don't know Japanese, but I can manage with English, French, Hindi, Urdu, Bhojpuri, Creole. Yeah, I even know Sanskrit, but no one talks Sanskrit in the world now. So they said, okay, then you can have one of your foot in Mauritius and South Africa, and put the other one in South Asia, East Asia, until we get someone there. Through this, I get to meet a lot of people, meeting online through IRC, or you're chatting with people. And it's awesome when one day you're watching a video of a conference happening in Greece, an official conference of openSUSE, and there's one of the project leaders who says, guys, and there's a room full of people, of course, and they say, guys, we do not realize that, but we have advocates who are doing a great job around the world. For example, we did not know that we have one guy from Mauritius. And I was like, say my name, say my name, say my name. He didn't say my name. But I was happy that he said Mauritius, because that made me proud. There are a couple of steps that I have been doing since nearly 4 years for the project. Editing the wiki, reporting the bugs, talking to people. But finally I was able to make the word Mauritius being mentioned in an international conference in Greece. And they mentioned that there's a guy in Mauritius who is contributing to openSUSE, of course. But, sorry about that. openSUSE, of course. But if we look at the global picture, there's someone in Mauritius who has contributed to open source. Now in the coming years, if we have hundreds of people, we will rank high. People contributing to openSUSE, to Fedora, to Ubuntu. That would be just awesome. So I'm feeling hungry. I think I'm just going to stop here. Again, my name is Ishwan Sookun, openSUSE advocate and local coordinator. That's my email address there, ishwan@opensuse.org. You want to know about anything regarding the project, just ping me. You know what is ping? Most of the guys doing IIT knows what is ping. When you ping a server, you get like a response. The server is alive. So when you ping me, I answer, I'm alive, I'm still here. So you want to query something about the project, or Linux in general, or open source software in general, just ping me on this address. Thank you. I hope it was good for you people. Thanks.